Hello, my name is David Green. I'm the Vice Dean for Education in the Faculty of Social Science and Public Policy at King's College. The following slides are going to be talking about an auditing assessment tool, a practical guide, that will hopefully help you and your department identify key ways in which you can monitor and model assessment practices. Clear aims, clear outcomes lead to clear assessment. And so the first start for any form of assessment is to make sure that you know what you want to do in a module, how you're going to assess it, and then to decide what the best form of assessment is. And that's exactly what this practical guide aims to do. It's about what kind of assessment, for what kind of skills, how much assessment, how often, and indeed, when should assessment take place. Assessment isn't just about identifying how well a student does. It's also an opportunity to engage them through learning, through grabbing their attention and encouraging them to take part in self-learning on the module. We often do that through doing things, through creating, and a good assessment is always going to allow students that opportunity. So let's have a look at the practical guide that we've identified for your departments. This practical guide has three parts to it. The first part matches student competencies with particular types of assessment. The second matches a department's set of assessments against types of assessment. And the third seeks to identify gaps in types of assessment in relation to desired competencies for students. In other words, does the range of assessments provide the best opportunities for your students to demonstrate what they've learned, the competencies they've gained? In the first exercise, the aim is really to think about the kind of assignment, to think about the different forms that that assignment could be assessed, and then to think about a little bit more about what students actually do, what's involved in that assessment. To the right are two columns, one marked yes and one marked no. The aim here is that you put a tick in each of the boxes whether your department uses that particular kind of assignment and assessment or doesn't. At the end of this exercise, you'll have an idea of the diversity of assessment types in your department. You'll also have an idea of the kind of assignments that you don't undertake, and that may be the reason to have a conversation. So please take a look at the assignments and the types of assessment, whether it's written or oral, problem-based and so on. Then make a judgment whether your department is actually carrying those out. And at the end of it, you'll see a box in which to record the numbers of assessments that you have and those that you don't have. As you'll see, there are many different kinds of assignments: dissertations, doing it in exam, essays. These are very common forms of assessment at King's. But we may look at some other ones. For example, we might want to ask our students to write a grant application. After all, this is something that as academics we do on a regular basis. But perhaps we'd like our students, maybe our level 6 or our level 7 students, to be able to write a really good grant application. It's something that they might want to do when they leave university and as they enter employment, so it's a good employability of skills. But do you have it in your own department? There are other kinds of assignments that you might want to consider as well. For example, we might want our students to reflect on a continuous basis about the kind of learning they're undertaking. This is a very useful way, for example, of understanding the experiences gained during internships. Some departments have internships for credit, but how do we assess those? So a learning log might be a really good way of encouraging students to reflect over a long time period about the kind of learning that they're achieving. Do you have it in your department, or do you not? As you'll see, there are many different kinds of assignments. At the end, you'll see the opportunity to enter a total. Either you have it or you don't have it, and this will then give an idea of the diversity of assignments in your own department.